Water Authority of Fiji public consultation on planned water shutdown was held in Nadi today. The shutdown is planned for a period of 4 days from 1 a.m. on the 29th of September to the midnight of the 2nd of October. The purpose of the shutdown at the Nagado Water Treatment Plant is for the replacement of the Vanessa valve that was removed in February early this year. WEF will be deploying water carting trucks to the affected areas until the supply normalizes again on the 2nd of October.
Back then, when the Vanessa valve was leaking, we had to take it out because it was doing a lot of damage to our treatment plant. So once we then ordered, and it took around 6 months for the manufacture and then deliver of that Vanessa valve. Now that it has arrived, we need to install it. So that's the reason for this shutdown.
The repair and installation work of the new valve will take 24 hours, and people living in low-lying areas should expect water as early as Sunday morning, the 30th of September. Those living in high areas receive normal water supply by Tuesday.
People living in and around Lautoka and Nadi are being urged to start storing water now, as the Nagado Water Treatment Plant will shut down for repair from 1 a.m. on Saturday. Those living in the areas affected have also been advised to not leave things to the last minute, as low pressure will also make it difficult to store water.
To other news now, residents of Nadi and parts of Lautoka that receive water supply from Nagado have been urged to start storing water from tonight. This is due to the planned water shutdown at the Nagado Water Treatment Plant, where Water Authority of Fiji engineers will be carrying out major upgrade works over the weekend.
Time is 12 o'clock here at Waturu Dam. I'm here to inspect the water levels at Waturu Dam in line with this is one of the main, our raw main intake into the Nadi and Lautoka system. And this feeds into the Nagado treatment plant, which feeds the whole of Nadi and parts of Lautoka. And with that, currently with this water level at 5 to 2 meters, it's okay to do the work. And we hope that works that we carried out at the treatment plant will be successful, and also the weather to hold us for this repair works. In regards to the Nagado Water Treatment Plant shutdown, like this is the third shutdown, and the first two shutdown was due to the defective Vanessa valve, and the first one was to repair the defective Vanessa valve, so we had to take it out and blank it, and while we repair the valve, and also try and get the order for the new ones from overseas. And the second one, second shutdown was due to the damage done to the polyjet valve, because there was no Vanessa valve on the first inlet. So after taking that risk, and it caused damage to the first inlet, and we had to remove the polyjet valve. And currently we are operating with one inlet at the Nagado treatment plant, and with the old Vanessa valve too, that's been installed around 15 years back, and it's reaching its age life, so it needs to be changed as well. So we're not taking the risk with that one inlet, and so we're doing the shutdown after the two new Vanessa valves arrive into the country. The reason for this third shutdown is to replace or install the new Vanessa valve as soon as possible, so we can eliminate the risk of damages to the inlet pipes. Okay, currently we've been using aeration to mitigate against the algae issue that occurred last year. You can see the 2-inch pipeline that's going down, the aeration pipeline, and at the very end you can see the outlet of that aeration pipeline. The main message is for this shutdown is for public to store adequate water, minimum of 200 liters, to sustain them during that the shutdown period, while works will be done at the Nagado treatment plant. And with the timelines been set at 24 hours for the repair works, so we'll start the repair works at on Saturday morning, and should end at Sunday morning, and soon immediately after that the restoration of water commences. Currently with this water level at 5 to 2 meters, it's okay to do the work, and we hope that works that we carried out at the treatment plant will be successful, and also the weather to hold us for this repair works. Yeah, I'm confident with the plans in place, and with that we are ready to go tomorrow morning once the shutdown begins. Thank you. We're back here at Nagado Water Treatment Plant, and if you can see in the background, the boys are mobilizing the scaffolding sheds. This is used to, the few sheds have been erected around the repair sites here at Nagado, and this is to protect the workers. That will be our contractors, which is Elisha Engineering, when they're doing the installation of the new valves. So in case of unfavorable weather, so this will shelter them in order to ensure that they do their work properly and on time. This is the third site for the repair works, and the shed that's been erected here is for the repairs to the transducer pipe or the riser pipe. And this is the third team of the contractors, Elisha Engineering, will be working on for this third repair site. So altogether there are 3 sites that Elisha will be working on, assisted by WEF staff. So as you can see here, you can see the first 2 sheds for where they'll be replacing or installing the new Vanessa valve.
Bula, my name is Fanny. I look after the water cutting activities that will be undertaken by the Water Authority of Fiji for the Nagado shutdown scheduled for this weekend. Currently, we have begun filling all the community tanks that have been placed for customers to be able to access. The filling of these tanks began yesterday. As you can see, we have one of our trucks that have pulled up to the filling point here in Lautoka depot. This truck will be filled and will commence to filling the community tanks. The way we have structured our operation starting at 4 a.m. tomorrow, the trucks will begin at specific locations and then we'll commence the filling. What we're aiming to do is by 9 p.m. tonight, all the community tanks set out throughout the Lautoka region have been filled, and we'll be ready in case customers need to use this water tomorrow morning. So just on our operations throughout this weekend, the number of trucks we have running in the Lautoka region, there's 17 water cart trucks. These will be dedicated to filling the tanks and in case there are special requests. What we're aiming to do is ensure customers face the basic minimum disruption throughout our works at Nagado. So the trucks will be on standby and awaiting, should the need arise for a tank to be refilled. Once we receive the call the tank is empty, the truck will be dispatched and we'll commence with the filling.
Hi, I'm Kirti and I am representing National Water Quality Lab for this Nagado shutdown. And what our basic role in the monitoring period is to ensure that we are testing the filling points, all the water carts that are assigned for the shutdown, the water carts, and as well as all the community tanks. And what we are trying to ensure by the water quality monitoring is that we are complying with the Fiji National Drinking Water Quality Standards. And if we are seeing any non-conformances, such as if chlorine residual is low, or we have high turbidity at the filling points, or at the community tanks, or in the water carts, then we are carrying out microbial tests as well, just to safeguard ourselves against any issues later if anybody has complaints that the water was unsafe for consumption. So those results are tabulated and are filed in our laboratory in the Western Division, in our Western Regional Lab, as well as we are sending our data to our main center in the lab, where we are archiving the data to have a backup support. Test the water from the truck which is behind us, and we are going to show how are we doing the turbidity on field, the chlorine residual, and how we are actually collecting the microbial sample, because we have to ensure that the bottle is pre-sterilized before we are collecting the sample, so that it is not contaminated before we have filled the bottle. And we also test the truck to ensure that the chlorine residual is transferred from the filling point to the tank, and also from the tank that there is no pre-contamination. This is a pre-sterilized bottle from the lab, and what happens is we are not to open it fully, so we'll just open it, fill up to here, make sure that there is air space in the bottle to allow us to do the microbial test in the lab. Set. Sample will be taken to the lab to carry out the microbial test, and we make sure that it is stored at 4 degrees Celsius in ice. Now next, what we are going to do is we're going to test for chlorine residual. And for chlorine residual, we have to make sure that the sample is at 100 ml volume. So we're going to add EDTA to the sample. EDTA.
What does it say?
Ethanol dichloride amine. And then this is to ensure that there is chlorine present. So what I'm adding now is the thiosulfate. And you will see that the color has changed to pink. So this shows that there is chlorine present. Next, we will measure the turbidity of the sample. So turbidity mainly shows that, ensures, by testing turbidity, we ensure that there is no dust particles present in the water sample. So the sample has to be exactly at 10 ml volume, and we have to make sure that there is no water sample or water particle outside the vial. And then it's placed in the instrument. And what we normally do is before we leave for the testing, we have to calibrate our meter, and we have a calibration register. So every time we are out in the field, we do the calibration to ensure that the meter is giving us the correct readings. And you will see that we are within the required standards. The turbidity is at 1.54. Now we will be testing the water from the truck, from the outlet of the truck, to ensure that we get the similar results as from the filling point to the truck. So we are going to test turbidity again.
This is water extracted from the truck.
This is, yes. These are the reagents that we are using to determine our chlorine residual in the system. And what happens to the reagents, it is prepared in our central lab, and then it is sent at 4 degrees Celsius to our regional lab. And all chemicals are standardized before we are using, and chemicals are only stored for 2 weeks for quality assurance purpose. This test is mainly carried out to ensure that there is no bacteria present from the water carts or from the community tanks. So what we are doing is testing it and storing it for 24 hours in our water baths, and then doing the readings just to make sure that there is nil bacteria presence from our water system. Now, since we have finished testing, we had made sure that the chlorine is present at the filling point and also from the truck, and as well as turbidity. Now, the turbidity standard ranges from 0.05 to 2. So for both the stations, we are falling within the required standards, that is 1.54 and 1.89 from the outlet of the truck. So now, after we have completed our required test, this truck is good to go to dispense water in the required community tanks.
Good morning again. Time is 7:30 a.m. This morning, 29th of September. And as you can see, the works have started to roll here at Nagado Water Treatment Plant. Operations last night, they've already closed the valve at the upper stream in Waturu.
Before this, we undertook operations on the upstream end. So we basically started from Waturu Dam, where we closed the lower intake. After the lower intake, because the team will take repair on the 600 line, so we had to close the section of the 600 line and open the washout for dewatering. So this is the works tomorrow. They do not have to wait for dewatering. And from there we came down here to do the changeover. At the moment we closing the 900 butterfly valve, trying to undertake the changeover from the 900 to the 600 line. So this valve down here in the chamber, that's the 900 butterfly valve. We're gradually closing to undertake the changeover to avoid airlock in the system.
So right now we're operating with the old 600 line, and also in my background below near the inlet pipes, the Elisa team are mobilizing their staff and also their resources, and getting ready to start with their works at 8 a.m. as planned.
I formally welcome you all for this major repair works at this Nagado Water Treatment Plant this morning. We have our General Manager of Water Operations here with us, Mr. Sakurwe Ulinjao. He would like to welcome you all and formally hand over the site for the repair works to Elisha Engineering team.
First of all, on behalf of the board and the management of Water Authority of Fiji, we'd like to welcome you all from Team Elisha in regards to this installation and repair works in Nagado. And with that, the board and the management have high expectation with Elisha in doing this work, and we trust and we're confident that Elisha will do the works within the time frame as planned, and we hope that everything goes well and with the weather to be on our side, and we've prepared everything just to ensure that your safety is paramount. And with that, we look forward to your task in doing this work. I know that you're experienced in this area, and we really look forward to your high performance in regards to this work for us. And with that, and I believe your CEO is not here. Oh,
Yes, all right.
come in, sir. Come in. Yeah. With that, few words, I trust, and the management and the board have full faith in Elisha Engineering in completing this work on time. And with those few words, I'd like to hand over the site to Team Elisha to start your works as soon as you're ready. And thank you so much for being here, and it's reassuring for us to work with you, and we hope that this relationship will be for the long term. Okay, one of the site for the cutting works that we're doing. This is in line with the Nagado Shutdown. So with that repairs and the installation of the valves that are happening at the Nagado treatment plant, we saw it fit to accommodate this work since there's no water in the line. So we're installing this cross connection valve in order to boost the supply to the southern end of Nadi, and that's part of the project's work in regards to the line that has been installed by China Railway, and the whole purpose of this is to boost the supply to the southern end of Nadi.
Over there, and we leave it for further operation. You know, when they want to do further connection to the new line, you know, at the moment we'll put those valves there, and we'll lead off, and then we'll close that valve.
Quarter to 11 here at one of the repair sites for the Nagado shutdown, and here to inspect the crew who are doing the repair works at the washout valve at Nagado along the raw water main at Water and going towards Nagado, and this washout valve is one of the high pressure mains, and sitting at around 42 bar or 420 meters, and the washout valve is connected to the 900 main 900 line that runs down from Waturu to Nagado. Good morning again. It's 8 o'clock on Sunday morning, the 30th of September. And as you can see in my background here, the new Vanessa valves have been installed by Elisa Engineering. And this is on inlet pipe 1, and also they've completed the others on inlet pipe 2 and the repairs to the transducer pipes.
Thank you very much to give us this contract. Yeah, and the boys did a nice work.
Yeah.
Ensuring that the project was done on time. Yeah.
Thank you, we did.
So the next step now is to charge the line from Waturu in order to get water into the treatment plant, and so before the restoration process begins downstream towards the distribution lines. 10 o'clock now. As you can see behind me, the bulk team are conducting valve operation in order to charge the line. And we're progressing towards Waturu dam, so where we can start with the whole process. So this is part of the process, is to close some of the valve on the line so we can charge along as once we open from Waturu.
Partially opened it and letting the line charges so that the water reaches the highest point and it doesn't retain and causing destruction to the whole pipeline. And we might have leaks if we open it all of a sudden. So for that reason we will let the line charge for a little bit and then we'll go for it again.
Which is the 600 and the 700 line, and as you can see, this valve operation works is labor intensive. It involves around about 5 to 6 personnel to open these three valves. From the dam, so water can come in and goes to the mill that goes to Nagado. After opening the line from the tower, we are here down along that Waturu line. Here's the washout to the 600 line that's coming down Waturu, which is a high pressure main. So as you can see, the team are here to close the washout valve after the air has gone out of the system. So due to the shutdown, we need to bleed the air out of the system as part of the restoration process. As you can see now, they're closing the valve. They're closing it gradually, so it doesn't cause a surge into the system. So there'll be air pockets coming out of the washout valve. Okay, Bull again. This is Namaka Control Center. This is where we compile all our reports and also monitor the reservoir levels from here, based at our customer service centers in Namaka. As part of this shutdown, the Namaka Control Center was established to collate all the reports from the respective teams There is 8 teams altogether that are in operation during this shutdown, and all the reports are updated on a 3-hourly basis in here at the Namaka Control Center. And that report, or the SIT rep, or the situation report, the SIT rep then compiled every 3-hourly, and it's sent to the management, and 6-hourly to the board. And as part of that, we have here the screen where we monitor the reservoir levels at the control center. So you can see all the reservoir levels in the Nadi system is shown here. There's another view here to the Lautoka system, but feeding from the Nagado Water Treatment Plant, which is right at the top. So part of the restoration process, this is what we do, monitor reservoir levels, and we're calling out to the teams in the field in regards to the valve operation. This is a Namaka Control Center calling Nagado Command Center.
Nagado Control Center.
Can you give an update on the levels at Nagado, please? Over.
Okay, scheduled for 12 p.m. These are the following updates from Nagado. For the reservoir level, Del A is 4.1 meter, Del B 4.1 meter, and the total mean flow for Nagado Water Treatment Plant is 92 ml. Over.
Copy that. Naka, over.
Naka.
Some of the contingencies that we have in place is that we have water tanks at the terminal that look after water supply in case of water disruptions for the terminal only, and we also have water tanks placed for critical departments like our key services, which are the air traffic management side of things. Those are the key contingencies or the mitigating factors that we had in place in case there was low water and we didn't have water supply coming through. So those are some of the mitigation factors that we had at the airport. The management and team from Fiji Airports would like to thank the proactiveness of the Water Authority of Fiji. Before the shutdown, they were engaging major stakeholders like ourselves at the Fiji airports, and telling us already weeks in advance of their plans to change the valves and how it would disrupt water supply. And so that enables key stakeholders of the Water Authority to engage and tell you of our needs, and that proactiveness helps us to overcome major water disruptions. And I think as you know, Nadi International Airport is a critical part of the economy because you have aircraft and passengers that arrive on a daily basis. So it's critical that we ensure operations at the airport are not affected. And as such, the prior meetings that we've had with the Water Authority of Fiji has enabled us to ensure operations at the airport were not affected during the shutdown at Nagado.
Mr. Prakash, just tell us about how your laundry was in operation during the Nagado shutdown and your feedback to the Water Authority of Fiji during the disruption period.
Actually, it never affected us, but at times we had the low pressure, so they were giving us a good service, filling all our tanks. Actually, since we are every time, since we got a big laundry and we need a lot of water, anytime we ask for assistance, they were always ready to help us from the depot and from here too.
We really do appreciate and very grateful for the service that has been provided by Fiji Water Authority in caring about its customers and giving us some tips of saving water, especially for the Nadi area. It's already dry, and this will be an awakening to other families here that they save enough water to facilitate them for the 4 days. And as I said, thank you, Water Authority, for caring for its customers.
I would just like to start with the customers first also. The people of Nadi and Lautoka, thanking them for their proactive action in help storing water and understanding the situation in terms of the important upgrade or valve changes that was needed in Nagado. And in terms of the complaint, the request for water that we received was much lower than the last 2 shutdowns. And again, I'd like to thank the people of Nadi and Lautoka, the WEF customers, that understood the situation and helped us along by storing water and making our job easier. In terms of to the staff and management of WEF that were involved in this important upgrade of the valves at Nagado, I would like to sincerely thank all of them for putting in their effort 110%, which was seen by achieving the shutdown in time or before time and putting the water back online within 3 days time instead of the 4 days that was advised to the public. So again, I would just like to say thank you to the staff of WEF and the management for all the efforts and the actions taken during this shutdown. Thank you very much.